Hi there everybody, it's UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator Helzie here from SlimmandStylish.stampinup.net. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Today I'm going to be creating this really simple note card. It's using the Beautiful Moments cling stamp set, but what I love the most about this card is the die cutting that's on it. So we have a whole host of dies that are available in both the annual and the mini catalogue. This is the annual catalogue. And some of them I think are just, you've got to have mini collection. You've got to have them dies. And these are my 3 pick out sets. So first of all, I'll draw your attention to the layering circles. I think this is key and have this sat by my Big Shot machine all the time. Definitely a great one to have. I also have the get my my words out, the stitched rectangles. They are so handy, and even though they're not in UK card sizes, they're still great ways to make a card. And then finally over here, the basic borders, which I also love. Okay, so I've got them all on my desk. Here's my basic borders, here's my stitched rectangles, and here are my layering circles. Okay, so I'm going to be using these to create this card today. Let's get started. So first of all, you're going to need 2 pieces of basic white cardstock. This is the thin, normal basic white cardstock. Okay, and what I've got is, I've got them both the same sizes. You don't need them to be, because this one is just going to be to create your thinking of you sort of sentiment at the start. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Memento for that, because it dries a bit quicker, it's a bit easier to use. So I'm just going to stamp that down on my piece of scrap basic white. Okay, I've got my layering circle. Now this circle, let me just grab my layering circles. You've got 1, 2, 3 that are bigger than this, and then this comes in there, so it's 4th from the largest on the circles. You also get the scalloped circles, but I'm just playing with circles for now. Okay, so I'm just going to run that through my Big Shot machine. Now, just to give you a heads up, I do have the Stampin' Mini cut and emboss machine. That is amazing, and I love it. It's just here, but it's just a little bit too small for 2 of the dies I'm going to be using today. So I am going back to using my old Big Shot machine, which is to the side. If you don't have a die cut machine, I have my Big Shot because I've just always had it. But Stampin' Up do a stamp cut and emboss machine in the regular size, and that is pretty awesome as well. I just couldn't justify getting 2 machines that sort of do the same thing. But if you're new to Stampin' Up or you're new to card making, the Stampin' Up one is a really good shout for you. So I'm just running that through my die cut machine, and you'll see once I reappear that there it is, all popped out and stamped. Okay, the next bit that I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my stitched rectangle die. This is actually the largest of the stitched rectangle dies. Okay, and I'm just going to pop that onto my piece of basic white, and I'm going to run that through my Big Shot machine. But what I'm going to tell you before I get started, I can't fit my Big Shot on the desk. Okay, so I'm just going to bring in the magnetic platform to show you. When you pop your piece of paper down and your die down, this on a magnetic platform, so that's just gone whoo, because I haven't got my plates on, so that's really stuck. When you put that down, if you pop it through like that, you're going to have the roller go over the entirety of this at one go, which does create a real, you know, pull / tug. If you move it, it's on a magnetic platform, so it's a bit harder for me to do, but if you move it so it's like that, then you're going to have this bit here hit the roller first, and it's going to graduate to the rest of it, so it's going to be a lot easier for your machine to handle. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. I know a lot of people, when these rectangles came out and they're quite big, just said, oh, it's a real struggle to get it through. That's your reason why. Pop it to the side and put it on, and you won't have as much problems. It will just go through quite easy. Okay, so I'm just running that through now. I have my cut an emboss machine. All my die is literally just to the side of my desk here. You can watch my craft room video, actually. I've got that on YouTube and it'll show you how I've got my setup. Okay. So if you then have your take a pick tool, because this is quite tight, when this comes out, because it does the stitching on both sides of the frame, this really does stick in. So if you just grab your take a pick tool and very slightly just pop it underneath the die and just pull it along the paper like that. Okay, it will start to come out and eased out. Okay. And then finally, before we get to the Stampin' book, because we're doing the die cutting, we're just going to do this lovely edged detail here. Okay, so I have got grapefruit, no, I haven't. I've got gorgeous grape. I knew it started off with grape and I was going to one of our old colours, Grapefruit Grove. So I've got gorgeous grape cardstock here, which I've already cut. So cardstock is 10 centimetres and this falls just under 10 centimetres in the UK. So it will sit on there really nice like that. Okay, ignore this, I've punched 2 pieces out for a previous project. I do that with my card bases because then you can't see it once it's adhered into the card and no one ever knows. But this bit here is the bit that you're going to want to show underneath your card. So that is where I have got my stitch bottom, and I'm using this one here because it's just, look at it, isn't it beautiful, so elegant and so gorgeous. And you can see the gap that I've got. I just want to be resting my die on the bottom of that, and if I move it across you can see that I can rest my die in both corners and it will work quite nicely. So I'm just going to run that through the die cut machine doing that, and again because of the size I'm just going to go slightly to the side. This is, I will say, a really, really gorgeous die cutting die cutting die. I don't know, that's not very good English. I'll have to rephrase that as I'm going through. I'm just trying to line it up on my magnetic platform first. Okay. Really gorgeous and effective die. Let's go with that, shall we? I've managed to get the die, you can't see what I'm doing, so I'm just going to talk to you about that. I've managed to get the die just hanging outside of the die cut machine there, so as I went to go and push it through, it moved. So I'm just realigning it now and we'll send it through again. There we go, and I'm just going to run it through now. So what I'd done is just when I put it in my plate, I had actually put it like that so it was overhanging, and then I could see as it was going through it wasn't going to do it straight. So done it now, and there we go. There is the bottom, and you can always keep that for another project because I'm sure that will look lovely. Sorry about the sirens. The road that my court backs onto, so I live in a court, but just out the side of it, and you've got a fire engine and an ambulance hub at the one end, you've got a police station hub at the other end, so we're on the emergency route, I feel. Okay, so then that can go onto there like that when it's done, and that's how you're going to start building your card up. So now I'm going to show you how I did the stamping and the colouring for this. Okay, first of all, I'm going to use my circle die cut that I used for this. I'm going to place it towards the centre of the card, but still towards the top. So it's in the centre, but more towards the top. And I'm just going to draw myself a circle here. And I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but I'm angling my pencil so that the circle is actually smaller than the die. Not by much, but it is smaller. Okay, it's a very rough one, but it just means that when that goes over the top, I'm not going to see my circle. Then what you want from this set is you want the heather dies. So the heather stamps, I've got all stuck on dies now. The heather stamps, the bird stamps. Okay. And you want stays on ink for this because we're going to be using the watercolour pencils. So for this, you just want to ink the heather, and you want to do just like that on the edge of the circle, okay? And you want to do that like this. I always find it easier going top to bottom. Side. To side. And then going into the corners just like that. Because I feel it's easier then to align where you're going, whereas if you just start here and work your way around, it's very easy to not get the measurements on the spot right. Okay, once you've done that, I'm just going to stamp down sort of the middle bit of the stamp, okay, into each gap. So I'm not being precious, it's overlapping and I don't care. Okay, wildflowers grow at all different levels and they overlap. It's fine by me. But I'm just going around and filling that into all the gaps like that. Okay, looks really messy, doesn't it? Really messy. It's not, it's not. You need a piece of scrap paper. So I've just got some post-it notes as scrap that I'm using. And I'm going to be using 3 different watercolour pencils. So I'm using Coastal Cabana, Garden Green and Gorgeous Grape. And Coastal Cabana's for my butterfly, which I haven't stamped yet, so I'm just going to put that up there. Okay, so the way I'm going to start this is I'm going to start it with the Gorgeous Grape. No, I'm not. Garden Green I'm starting with. I've got getting into some medals, aren't I, with the Gorgeous Grape today. I'm all over the place with it. And I'm literally just doing a few lines up wherever the grassy bits are. Now I can see around here, and I know you're going to be struggling now, but I can see where my circle is still. There's no point me putting colour inside the circle because you're not going to see it. So there's no point wasting your time. You just want to get the bits that people are going to see done. Okay, and it's straight lines, straight up. Okay, like that. And then you want to come in with your pencil. Well, it's not, sorry, not with your pencil, with your blender pen. Just make sure there's no colour already on it. And you just want to go over those green shades. Okay, just blending it up and blending it out so that you get a really, you can see the difference between this section here that I've gone over and this bit. So you just want to make sure that you're covering around where the circle is with the colour. Okay, wipe that colour off so that when you go over with the Gorgeous Grape, starting to get the name right of this colour now. I'm not having a very good time with that. You just want to go over all of the bits of heather. It's not neat, you're just literally getting the colour to that sections so that when you go over with your blender pen, it will just look magical. Okay, and I'm pushing quite hard with this because I just really want the bright colour to come out. Okay, and then once you've got that, you just bring in that round. Okay, keep going round. Kind of forgot I was on a video then. I was just enjoying with the colour and I just totally forgotten to speak, and then I was like, well, how long have I been quiet for? You don't often get quiet time from me on a video, do you? Just going to wipe that out so that when I use it in a minute with the butterflies, it works. So for the butterflies, I'm bringing in the stains on, and I'm just going to be doing 4 of these around the outside of this sort of wreath type thing. Okay. I'm going to colour those in with Coastal Cabana, and again I'm pushing just really heavy on this because I just want this to be really pow with the colour. Okay, over it with a blender pen, which is just going to spread that colour around. I'm just going to wipe that off to the side. And there we go. So finally it's assembling the card. So I've got my base cardstock, and I've got my oh, gorgeous scrape. I'm going to actually do myself little cue cards next time I use this colour, so I keep remembering the colour. I'm stuck on Grapefruit Grove, which was an orange that we used to do. So it's nothing like this. It just uses the same word as grape in it, and it's grapefruit that uses, not grape. So I'm just being daft, basically, people. I'm just being daft. So I'm just going to stick that to my card base. What I've actually done with it, and you can see here on this one, is I've left quite a gap at the top and not much of a gap at the bottom. I feel that offsets it with the extra white, and I quite liked it that way, but up to you. And I'm just sticking these layers flat before I come in and use dimensionals underneath the sentiments. I'm just going to stick that on there. Okay, the sentiment art is there underneath the stamp, obviously good place for me to keep it. So I'm just going to pop a couple of dimensionals underneath there to sort of pop it up. And then finally, I'm using the adhesive backed sequins that were from the Artistic Emphoria pack that's in the annual catalogue. Artistic Expressions it's called, I think. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm just popping them underneath the butterfly so that neither detracts from the other one. Okay, and there is the card. 3 different sets of dies, but you've seen all my favourite dies, and hopefully you can see all of the stitching that's both in the gorgeous grape paper and in the basic white paper. Okay, thank you ever so much for joining me. The stamp set was Beautiful Moments. Everything I have used today is available from my site, SlimmandStylish.stampinup.net. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye. I hope you've enjoyed today's project. All items that I have used on this video are available to purchase from my store, www.SlimmandStylish.stampinup.net. Alternatively, if you would like a copy of our catalogues, please send me an email to slimandstylish@live.co.uk or leave me a comment below and I'll get in touch with you. I upload regular content to this channel, so if you do enjoy watching my tutorials, please make sure that you have subscribed and rang the bell to get notifications when new videos go live. Thank you for joining me and have a lovely day.